I get told that this channel has become known for covering cases that are rather dark. When researching these kinds of cases, they tend to evoke feelings of sadness, disgust, shock, but some leave me feeling genuinely sick. And this is one of those cases. I can imagine that this one will probably rank among the worst to many of my viewers. Kevin Davis was a 17-year-old from Corpus Christi, Texas, USA. On the morning of March 27, 2014, Kevin began to speak to his mother about some feelings he was experiencing. He told her that he had a strong dislike towards people in general, and that he was unhappy with how his life was going so far. He told his mother that he wished to end his life. She was, of course, rather taken aback by this admission from Kevin. His mother was a 50-year-old hospice worker named Kimberly Hill. She told her son that she was deeply saddened by this confession. Kevin asked for her permission to end his life. Kimberly told Kevin that she didn't want this for him and offered some help. But she also said that if he did wish to do this to himself, and that she would be unable to stop him. Upon hearing this, Kevin had a change of heart. Her response enraged him. He no longer wished to end his own life. He now wanted to kill his mother, a fantasy that he had actually had for some time. A little later on, while Kimberly was relaxing on the couch in the living room, Kevin used the element of surprise. He crept behind his mother and began to strangle her with a cord. Kimberly screamed for her life in terror. Fearing that someone would hear the commotion, Kevin decided to use a more brutal method. He went and grabbed a hammer. He then repeatedly struck his mother in the head, over and over again. Kevin hit his own mother in the head over 20 times. He wanted to make sure that his mother was definitely deceased. So he went to the kitchen and grabbed a knife. He stuck the knife into the cavities he had created from the hammer blows, and used the knife to mix around his mother's own brain. Curious to know what the brain would feel like, he shoved his fingers and hands into the holes and began to rummage around. And if that wasn't enough, Kevin then did something truly despicable. He carried his mother, leaving behind a trail of blood in the home, leading from the living room to the master bedroom. Once inside the bedroom, he removed her clothes and had his way with the corpse. After he was done, he wrote some notes for the police, one of which read, "Chase me. Sorry for the mess. K.D." He then got onto his bike and attempted to make his way out of town. Before too long, he decided that he didn't want to go on the run, and instead was going to turn himself in. Kevin threw his bike into a bush and knocked on the door of a random house. An unsuspecting couple opened the door. He asked the couple who lived in the house if he could use their phone to make a call to the police, because he had just committed murder. The couple handed him a phone so he could make the call. He told the dispatcher that his mother was dead in their house, and that he was the one who was responsible. The police soon arrived at the house where Kevin had gone to, and he was arrested. The police then went to Kevin's house. Once inside, they followed the trail of blood and found Kimberly's lifeless body in the bedroom. Kevin was questioned at the station about the details of what he had done. He confessed to everything, with a chilling lack of emotion. The police asked him why he killed his mother in such a brutal way. What had Kimberly done to deserve this barbaric treatment? To which he responded, "Absolutely nothing. I'm just a terrible, disgusting person. She was the best mother in the world." He then went on to say that although he loved his mother, he didn't have any regrets, and stated that he wouldn't take back a thing that he had done. Kevin told the investigators all about the conversation he had with Kimberly, and about using the cord and the hammer, and described what Kimberly's brains felt like, comparing the texture to that of putty. He then told the police about taking her body to the bedroom, removing her clothing, and performing the disgusting act, going on to say that he often had fantasies about doing that to a lifeless body. Kevin then went on to say that he had also waited a while for his sister to come home, hoping to do the same to her. After some contemplation, he decided against the idea. He told the police that he had had his fill for the day, and that doing that to his sister on the same day seemed a little too much. I can't imagine how terrifying it must have been for the sister to learn of the details and the fate that your mother had suffered. But then to hear that he had planned this for you too. He just luckily didn't feel like doing it. Kevin was sure to make the point to the police that he knew exactly what he was doing. He stated, "I'm not mentally disturbed. I'm sane. I know exactly what I did." He then told them that he deserved 100 years in prison. With a smile on his face, Kevin told the police that he had never had intercourse before that day. He then let out a laugh and said, "I guess I lost my virginity to a corpse." Quite possibly one of the grimmest quotes I've ever read out on this channel so far. He told the police that if he was ever to be released from prison after this, he would do it all over again. He said, "I don't have standards. I don't have morals. A body is a body, a piece of meat." After this rather honest confession, the police charged Kevin and placed him on a bond of $2 million. Just before the trial would begin, Kevin actually pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder. But just before his trial began, in October of 2014, he changed his plea to guilty. The disturbing confession footage was played for the court to hear, and they heard every detail: how he attacked his mother and what he did to the body, and how he waited for his sister to come home, and his confession that if he was ever to be released, he would do this again if given the chance. There wasn't much that his defense lawyer could do, apart from speak about Kevin's personality disorder, hoping it would be enough to give him a lesser sentence. Some doctors testified that Kevin did indeed have a personality disorder, but they went on to say that despite this, Kevin knew exactly what he was doing. This disorder could not be used as an explanation for what he did. Kevin knew the difference between right and wrong. There was no case for diminished responsibility, which in my humble opinion makes this case even scarier. Kevin is many things: evil, sick, twisted, but he is honest. Even throughout the trial, he made a point of telling everyone that he knew exactly what he was doing. And throughout the trial, in the moments when the details of what happened were read out, Kevin would often turn to the jury and give them a smile. He went on to show more strange behavior. The couple who Kevin had gone to after killing his mother had to point Kevin out during the trial and give evidence. When they entered the courtroom, Kevin began to wave at them. It didn't take long for the jury to decide a verdict. 1 hour to be exact. Kevin was given the maximum possible sentence: life in prison. There are cases on this channel that I will never forget. Cases such as Alison Botta, Emily Jones, and James Bulger, just to name a few. And I think this one will be on that list too. To do this to the person who gave birth to you, and to admit that she had never done anything wrong, is just beyond horrific. Clyde Hill made a statement. He is Kevin's grandfather and Kimberly's father. He turned to Kevin and said, "You broke an unwritten law. You killed your mother. You just don't do that. We will never see you again." Kevin is currently serving his time in Richmond, Texas, and will be eligible for parole in March of 2044. Although I think we can rest assured, and he will never be free again. Or at least, I hope he won't.